Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land, where you visit every Monday to Thursday to get your top stories making headlines in Israel. And it's day 55 of Israel's war against Hamas. This is the longest war or conflict that we have had with Hamas in the history of the country. Now, there are some parts of this broadcast that are going to be upsetting to viewers and listeners as I share some of the testimony that we are receiving from the now released hostages. But let's take a look at the top stories, and that is that Hamas have agreed to an extension of 4 days for a ceasefire. Now, I know many of you are out there thinking, Israel has said no ceasefire. Why are they agreeing to this? The reason is pretty simple. We want to get as many of our hostages, including the men that are being held hostage, out as soon as possible. But make no mistake, our Ramatkal, the IDF Chief of Staff, addressing his troops yesterday, said we are ready to resume our military campaign. And hearing from some of the soldiers, they are fired up, they are ready to go, they are ready to put an end to Hamas for once and for all, so that we don't have a terrorist enclave on our border and our civilians can live in peace. So last night, Hamas released a further 10 hostages, elderly women and 1 teen, and 2 Thai nationals, and 1 dog. It was actually quite a surprise for many of us to see Mia Landman being released with her little dog, Bella. The dog has been checked out by veterinary services that allowed the dog to be with her at Sheba Hospital. The hospitals have been fantastic in allowing the released hostages animals to be with them, to offer them that calm, that comfort. And I'm sure the little Bella is also traumatized by what she has endured as well. And we have it on good report from both Ichilov and Sheba hospitals that all of the remarkable women that were released last night are in good condition. We've also heard that little Avigail Idan, 4 years old, who was released several days ago, has left hospital and she is with her family. Avigail's parents were murdered on the 7th of October. She is an orphan. She has 2 older siblings, aged 8 and 9, and they are presently with their family. But the testimonies that we are hearing are absolutely, they're shattering. There's no other way to say it than shattering. The aunt of Eitan Yahalomi, a little boy that was released, has said that he was kept in solitary confinement for about 16 days. He was forced to watch the footage of the atrocities. The Hamas terrorists forced him to watch it under gunpoint. If he cried at any stage, they threatened him with rifles. He was then moved back to where the others were being kept and was able to be with his caretaker that's at the nursery school that he attends on his kibbutz. We're also hearing from the father of Emily Hand. If you recall Emily Hand, the dual Irish Israeli little girl who her father believed was killed, and said, thank God she's dead. I can't imagine what she would have to endure being kidnapped. He has spoken. He has said she's lost a lot of weight, that her whole face is sunken in. She cries herself to sleep, and she's scared to talk. She's scared to make any noise. That when she speaks, he has to put his ears right up against her lips to hear what she's saying. She doesn't refer to it as Gaza. She calls it the box. We've also heard in his account to the Sun newspaper that they moved her from safe house to safe house, and she had to run in between firing, the conflict, the engagement of fire between IDF troops and Hamas. And he says it's a long road forward. She's very, very subdued, and as the weeks go on, he will learn more. We have also heard from some of the returnees that women were kept in cages. I don't even know what to say to that anymore. But the stories are harrowing. We know our hostages were given very little food. Doctors say they've lost, especially the children, about 15% of their body weight. They're watching them very, very carefully to try and reintroduce food so that it doesn't overwhelm them. The hostages have spoken about how they had to wait for hours to get to the bathroom, that some of them were kept in the tunnels and their eyes can't readjust to the light. It's just absolutely shattering, and they've gone without being able to bathe or shower. There just are no words. Yesterday I brought you the story of Alma Abraham, who was fighting for her life in critical condition. Thank goodness she is making a slow recovery. She's off the critical list. Her daughter, in a press conference, took aim at the International Red Cross for not giving her the life-saving medication, not ensuring that she received the necessary life-saving medication that she needed. She arrived, her temperature was very low, her pulse was very low. The International Red Cross have a lot to answer for their neglect of our hostages, and also for allowing the released Palestinian prisoners to wave Hamas flags. That is a violation of the Geneva Convention. And finally, Germany have announced that they will be halting all aid to UNRWA. This is the United Nations Relief Works Agency that run hospitals and schools in the Gaza Strip. Now, they've been the subject of a lot of scrutiny in recent years. First of all, for allowing for the fomenting of the incitement of hatred in UNRWA textbooks, as well as for their hospitals to be weapon storage facilities and to be used as human shields. If you recall, several years ago when President Trump was in office, he withdrew American funding of UNRWA. So we hope that more countries follow suit. This is the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. As you can imagine, it's extremely, extremely emotional for us in Israel right now as we welcome our hostages home, and we will do everything we can as a country to ensure that they are protected and surrounded with our love. Please don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online, our YouTube channel at the Israel Brief, our Facebook page at Lottle's site, and our X page at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Arlene Marks. This is the Israel Brief. I'll catch you again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves.